This is Cinema Chat. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to Cinema Chat, the podcast where I chat about all things cinema. My name is Izzy, and today we are going to be discussing the newest success at the box office. The film has already made $927 million worldwide just after its opening weekend alone, and has taken the title of highest grossing opening weekend ever. Today, we are talking about Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Last week we touched on the superhero genre, and I shared my feelings towards it, but just to recap, I'm not the biggest fan of them. I feel like they're too repetitive, pretty much the same storytelling formula each time. Marvel in particular has too many characters you need to follow to fully understand everything, and action movies tend not to be my thing. The only superhero I have continued to keep up with is Spider-Man. I do like Tom Holland's portrayal of him, and I was pulled into seeing No Way Home because of Andrew and Toby. This one was getting a lot of buzz, a lot of great reviews. Obviously, with Tom and Zendaya getting married this past year, it drew a lot of attention towards the film as well. But I did still go in with little to no expectations. And real quick, before we dive in, I just want to mention how happy I was to see such a packed theater when I went to go see this film. I went to a 4 o'clock showtime, and the theater was already really busy. The line for concessions was really long, the parking lot was full, there was a decent amount of people around. My theater was completely full. As I could tell, there were no empty seats. When we left, it was even busier. There was a line almost out the door just for your ticket to be scanned. It just made my movie theater heart so happy, and I was even more overjoyed to learn that this weekend was the biggest domestic box office earnings of all time, with $412 million. This is a collection of all the movies that are currently in the theater. So Spider-Man, The Odyssey, Toy Story 5 is still bringing in big numbers, and all the other movies. All I can say is, take that, Ted Sarandos. Ha ha. Movie theaters are not outdated. They are making a comeback, and it's fantastic. Even this film, as I mentioned, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, has now taken the crown for highest earning box office opening weekend, which is crazy because last week I mentioned how the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire was the first time a film had ever made $100 million in one weekend. So it's really cool that another Spider-Man film has kind of taken the crown. If anyone doesn't know, the previous crown holder was Avengers: Endgame. Obviously a big movie theater moment for a lot of people. Made sense that it earned a lot, but a lot of people are kind of wondering what is so special about this Spider-Man movie that made it the highest grossing. And I do think it's a collection of things. I mean, we have a continuation of No Way Home. We have Tom Holland, who is just an amazing Peter Parker. And then on top of that, we have Tom Holland and Zendaya got married this past year. A lot of people love them together. They've already shown they are a very cute couple. They have good chemistry. So people want to see them in movies. And then, of course, The Odyssey coming out a couple weeks before, it's another movie that they're both in. So it's continuously like wanting to support this married couple and see them in films. Hey, whatever gets people to the theater. Anyway, before we dive in, as usual, everything I say is going to be my own opinion. I am going to be discussing the film spoiler-free, and then I will give my official spoiler warning before I go into more details. Brand New Day picks up with the world forgetting Peter Parker. Long Way Home ended with Doctor Strange erasing everyone's memory of him, including his girlfriend MJ and best friend Ned. 4 years have now passed, and Peter has continued to watch over New York City as Spider-Man. When a new threat approaches that seems to be mind controlling multiple citizens, Peter starts to investigate it, but then his powers begin to evolve to where he is unable to fully control himself when they take over. My initial reaction to this film was, it was okay. Once again, same superhero formula, which I expected, but I didn't even feel like it was done that well. There seemed to be a lot of things going on where they were trying to play out different storylines and plot points, but everything seemed to be too thrown together to fully flesh anything out. There was too much going on to where I couldn't really keep up with where my focus should be, or I would almost forget some things that were happening, and then we'd be brought back to that moment. I'd be like, oh yeah, where did that come from? Or, oh yeah, that's a thing. The story just didn't do anything for me. There wasn't really anything that fully grabbed my attention or had me intrigued. It was enjoyable from an entertainment perspective. My theater had a lot of vocal reactions to things. It's a fun movie to watch, but there's nothing that made it special or stand out from other Marvel films that I've seen. I kind of just found myself just nodding along with things, almost. And what I mean by that is just things would happen. I'd be like, okay, next, okay, next. It was almost like a checklist of things. I was just checking the boxes of that happened, okay, that happened, okay. There wasn't anything that was like, oh, wow, didn't see that coming, or wow, that was unexpected, or oh, I want to see what happens with that. I didn't have any of those moments. Nothing really pulled me in. I was just watching a movie, which is what I was doing. There wasn't anything that made me go from, oh, this is a movie to, oh, this is an enjoyable experience. I do think Tom does a fantastic job playing Peter. I think the reason this franchise does so well is because he just absolutely nails the character. I think I would agree that his version of the character is the best one. I also think Jacob Batalon plays Ned so well. I remember loving him in Spider-Man Homecoming, very beginning of this franchise, and thinking he's one of my favorite sidekick character portrayals, and that is still true, despite him not even remembering Peter in this movie. Their dynamic duo chemistry is really well done, and I think another reason people love these movies is because their friendship is something you root for and care about. It's not just his connection with MJ, which isn't another factor. I myself love how connected they are at playing friends and their banter and their back and forth and just everything like that. Again, I love the Ned character. I think Jacob just does a killer job playing this role. And I think that's probably another reason why I enjoy these Marvel films. And that's probably another reason why I mostly follow the Spider-Man films, is because I really love the cast. I really love them. I love when all of them are in the movie. It brings me back. Jumping back to MJ, obviously chemistry is going to be good when you're acting alongside your wife, Zendaya. She does a decent job. Compared to the other films I've seen her in this year, this was my least favorite. But also, that's comparing her to The Odyssey and The Drama. Two very, very different character portrayals. I loved her in both those movies. And it's not that she does bad in this movie. It's just from the level I've seen her in so far this year, it was more of a drop down. I don't think the movie was terrible. But I do think it needed something a little different to make it better. It was very mid. It was very average. Basic superhero movie. And if you enjoy those kinds of films, then this would be a great movie theater experience for you. A lot of people love this movie. I've already seen so many people say they thought it was fantastic. They thought it's great. One of the better Marvel films in a while. Good for you. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that you went to the theater and you had an amazing experience. That is what I care about. It's just not for me. And there's other people who may be feeling iffy about going to see this film because they're also in the same boat I am. And I would tell those people, probably not worth your money. It's already made $1 billion. It just made $1 billion today. The day I'm recording this, it's made $1 billion worldwide. So if you're on the fence of seeing it and you feel kind of like me, you're not really into the superhero genre anymore, you feel like it's repetitive, you don't think Marvel has produced anything special anymore, save your money. It's done well. It doesn't need your extra money. Now, I will be going into more detail on the film, so this is your official spoiler warning. Please come back and listen after you have watched it. Keep listening at your own discretion. Here we go. Sadie Sink kept a secret of who she was going to be portraying in this film, and they reveal her to be Jane Grey. This now introduces the X-Men into the Marvel Universe, as she is one of the members, setting up for a whole other movie that I'm most likely not even going to watch. She ends up being our villain in this film, who mind controls people to break into the Department of Damage Control, so she is able to find out what happened to her sister Sarah. I didn't mind them using her as part of the story, but I felt like it focused too much on her than Peter at times. This is where I feel like they were creating too many storylines in one film. You would expect the focus to be more on Spider-Man, who is our titular character, but there were times where he almost felt pushed to the side. Yes, we have his story of his powers are transforming and he's losing control, but it felt like that eventually took a backseat. It just didn't work for me. I found myself wondering, isn't this a Spider-Man movie? Why are we so focused on this character? Why do we just focus more on her than him at times? It felt very weird for a film that's supposed to be Spider-Man, that we're now focusing more on this villain slash superhero origin kind of story. Next, I want to talk about the use of the Hulk in this film. Was he really needed? I've mentioned how I don't like how Marvel always integrates all of these characters into each film, but this one just felt really unnecessary. He served no purpose to being in the film other than some information, but even that eventually goes out the window. It just feels lazy. This isn't creative. This isn't cool. Just another let's throw this in there. People will probably go nuts. But it only lasts for a few minutes and doesn't add anything to the story. I felt like half the time I was just wondering, they're just looking for a cool moment here. They're going to bring in the Hulk for no reason. Some people are questioning, why did Mark Ruffalo not do any press for this film? And it's like, well, because his character's not really important in this film. It's just another side piece storyline that, yes, works in a way, but also you could have literally used any type of villain in this scenario. I was just confused. I didn't understand the purpose. What is the purpose of getting a big name like Mark Ruffalo to come in and be in your movie for 5 minutes, and it doesn't even matter? There's no purpose. I'm getting on a soapbox right now. I'm sorry. I'm just very annoyed. I just didn't understand, and I probably never will. And some people say, hey, it's setting up for what's coming next, and this is, again, what I despise with Marvel is, oh, so it's setting up for another movie that I'm probably never going to watch. I just wanted to see Spider-Man, and now I have to know this random information that is just going to make sense in another movie, and all these connections. It's just, it's ridiculous. Okay, off soapbox, I'm done. My point being, if there's no real purpose for a character to have a part in the movie, then maybe just find another character that maybe we haven't been introduced to, or just something that would make a little more sense for the gravity of the situation. It was just lazy. It was so lazy. I just didn't like it. Okay, moving on. Before I get angry again. I'm turning into the Hulk talking about the Hulk. Let's talk about the rooftop scene with MJ. Gene finds out about Peter and those close to him, so he attempts to protect MJ and convinces her to go with him to safety. MJ then says she remembers Peter and kisses him, only to reveal that Gene tricked him and is inhabiting MJ's body. A decent amount of people in my theater were surprised, freaking out, etc., etc. Well, not me. I could very easily tell that the villain, Jean Grey, had already taken over her body. It was very, very obvious to me. If you didn't see that coming, I won't say anything regarding that. I have a I'm an expert. I am the movie expert. I can see these things coming from a mile away. No, I did ask my friends who I saw them film with if they did believe it, and they did say they were a little confused, but they were tricked. So I guess it serves its purpose of surprising the audience. To me, it was a little obvious. Personally, took me out of the film because I'm sitting there thinking, like, who is believing this? Who is going to believe this lazy writing that, oh, she already remembers him just like that? It's just not good setup. It's just not. I feel like there could have been something else to make it just a little bit better. It seemed too simple. And I might be in a minority here because a lot of people that I've seen online seem to connect with that scene and be like, oh man, like that was such a surprise. And I don't know. I didn't believe it. I never believed it. And I'm just like, I don't even have words. I can't even fully describe how much I disliked this scene. It makes sense storyline wise, this scene. It just was too predictable for me. There wasn't any surprise, there wasn't any shock, it was just predictable. The giveaway, for those of you who are wondering how I figured it out, I'm just a movie expert, obviously. But the main giveaway for me was when he was swinging with her, she wasn't freaked out. In all of the other movies, she always freaks out whenever he does that with her. So why would she all of a sudden be calm? I feel like it plays too much into the audience wants this to happen. The audience wants her to remember, and Peter wants her to remember. So we're just going to play with people's minds and gaslight them into thinking that it's just this easy. Come on, people. It's just, I'm not trying to call people dumb. I'm not mad at people for not realizing that it was a trick. I'm mad at the people who wrote this movie thinking that this was smart. Now that I've complained, I will give props to Marvel that they didn't make it this easy. If they had actually gone with this moment being she easily remembers, they're back together, woohoo, the movie would have flopped in my opinion. Not necessarily flopping in the sense of the box office, but flopped as in the movie to me would have been terrible. This would have dropped from average to movies bad, movies horrible, because that is extreme lazy writing. Very, very bad writing. Absolutely not. So props to them for not going that direction. I would gladly take the misdirect over if that was actually real. And to give them another credit, because I am a nice person, I did really like the lighting for this scene. We have the neon red reflecting on her face after the reveal, and just added a nice little touch. And then when she's falling off the building, and we still see that on her face, when she finally leaves MJ's body and she starts reacting because she realizes she's falling, she realizes where she is, then that color shifts. And that's how we know again that MJ's back. I really liked that touch. Little prop, little praise for the film. I'm not all hate. I did enjoy that. John Bernthal kept the comedy alive in this film for me. A lot of the jokes fell a little flat, especially when a lot of those moments are in the trailer. This is a really, really, really bad habit that films have done lately, where they put all of their good jokes in the trailer. So by the time you watch the movie, you're not laughing at it anymore because you've seen it a bajillion times. It wasn't even they were trying too hard to be funny. It was just familiar comedy to where it didn't really get a laugh from me. But John, who plays the Punisher, does a great job again, chemistry with Tom is fantastic. They're good friends in real life, so that really helps make their banter enjoyable. That whole relationship was great. That to me was the best comedic side of the film. Everything else was kind of just, they're just not landing. It's just not working. And the last thing I'm going to touch on is the ending, where he embraces his powers. Jean's asking him, who do you want to be, Peter Parker or Spider-Man? Raise your hand if you knew he was going to say I'm both. I have both hands in the air, just so you know. It was a very, very obvious line. I'm pretty sure most people knew he was going to say that. I do feel like this was meant to hit more emotionally, but I didn't feel it. I didn't get there. The setup for that moment was too obvious once again, because that storyline had been pushed to the side too many times. I just didn't care. By this point, we haven't focused that much on it. At least him dealing with it. We've focused on him trying to suppress it, which is fine, but this is where he embraces it, and it's just, it doesn't hit for me. It just didn't work. It's supposed to be this big moment, and I didn't feel anything from it. All of a sudden, he just embraces everything and accepts who he is and has control. Feels lazy. There's just too much laziness in this. I feel like the amount of information I've heard about this film where they really tried to care for the scenes and the characters, and there's some moments where it does really show. I'll give it credit. There's just a lot where it just is too simple. It was too, I hate to keep saying lazy, but to me it was just very lazy. I feel like it could have been fleshed out a little bit better. I felt like there could have been a better moment for him to fully embrace everything. Like when those scenes happen, like I want to feel like I'm also like energized and ready to take on an army. Like I need to feel that emotion inside of me where I'm like hyped up and I'm pumped up and I'm like, yo, let's go. Let's beat this bad guy and all these henchmen and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't feel that. I just felt like, oh, great. He embraced his powers. He's going to overcome everything and it'll be a great day. The action scene in this moment, though, was probably my favorite out of all of them because they used the hand ninjas and the fighting sequences were really cool and the choreography was neat. I did see behind the scenes of this coordination, and that was really cool. Huge respect for all stunt coordinators and stunt teams. I may not always enjoy action movies, but I can respect all the stunt team does to make it look good, and it was executed very well in this film. This scene in particular, really well done. I very much enjoyed the big moments. The story part of it didn't hit for me, but the scene itself, when he embraces his powers and we have this choreography fight scene, very cool, very well done. I loved that. They did a lot of rigging for this, for the stunt team. It was very well planned out, very well executed. Another little bonus for the movie. It was great. I enjoyed it. As an action scene, I got a lot out of it where I wasn't just bored with people fighting all around each other. It was a little bit different. It was a little unique. I enjoyed it. There you go. Another bonus. Congrats. Overall, it was average to me. I felt like it had potential to be better, but just didn't hit the right points for me to be fully enthralled in it. As for future films, most likely they're going to get the green light to continue. Film has already done very, very well. Will I continue to watch them? Maybe. I guess I have to see what they're planning for story-wise, but there are other Marvel films planned to release before they'll continue any of this. We have Avengers Doomsday coming out later this year. I have no interest in watching that. It just feels like nostalgia bait. I'm not for it. But hey, if you enjoy those movies, if you're super excited about it, good for you. Go out. Enjoy them. Not for me. Tom has stated that they are wanting to set up where he passes the baton to the next Spider-Man. But they're hoping for possibly another 2 movies after this one. We'll see. Clearly people love the character. They love Tom. Makes sense that they would want to continue to use him. Question now is, will the hype still continue for the next one? I think it's possible, but only time will tell. Thank you all so much for listening. Please feel free to share this episode with anyone you know who might be interested in it. Next week, we are going to shift gears and visit another genre of film, the musical side. I'm going to be discussing Singing in the Rain. Go give it a watch to prepare for the episode, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts. If you would like to follow me online, I am at IzzyPog8, the number, on both Instagram and Twitter, at Living Izzily on TikTok, and at IzzyPog on Letterboxd. Shout out to my DJ as usual. Go give him a follow at Mike Afters on both Instagram and TikTok. And with that, a happy movie watching to you all. Bye.